folks, Cal Kellogg here. Why am I wearing the Carhartts? Because I've been playing with the wood pile all day, and honestly, it's been kicking my butt. I was sawing and splitting and hauling and stacking, and I'm still not done. But I am very close to being done, having enough wood for the winter. So I'm making progress whenever I get the chance, but I've been busy lately. I want to welcome you all back to the FHS Fishing YouTube channel. And if you're not already a subscriber, please take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. You'll always know when I'm here on YouTube talking about fishing. We got 2,000 trout fishing videos and counting, and we're going to talk trout and salmon fishing today. But before we get into that, check out this footage from my last successful trip out on Folsom Lake, and then we'll talk about some current events which you'll probably find funny and interesting and kind of scary.
Oh, nice little fish. Yeah. Looks like a salmon. Yep. Woo! Yeah, baby!
There we go.
Yeah, hold it way out.
First fish of the day. Beautiful Folsom Lake King, and look at this. He got some teeth.
Oh.
Oh yeah, he's a minnow eating machine. Good job.
Nice.
Yeah. Clown trigger spoon, guys, right there. Bam. Check this out. Check out what came up with the downrigger. That is a bass, I believe. I don't know what happened to it though. Anyway, it looks like it got its head cut off somehow. Yuck, I'm gonna have to touch it. It's the same copper spoon Dave's already lost 2 on, guys.
Oh yeah, that's a baby. You ought to get him.
There we go.
He's still eating size.
Copper spoon, guys. Nice little rainbow, square tail, all that. Okay, as you can see, we've been catching some very nice fish out at Folsom. Here's the deal with Folsom. The bite was very good for about a month. It tapered off. We were still catching fish, but it was pretty hard. You know, it was getting pretty hard. Well, now we're seeing the bite start to rebound. We're catching salmon early, we're catching trout throughout the day. We're catching some pretty nice fish. It's all about spoon trolling right now, but I've been experimenting with some other techniques too. But I think over the coming weeks, you can expect that bite to come back on strong. There's still plenty of bait, plenty of fish marking out there. They just haven't been biting during the day. And that early salmon bite seems to indicate that the fish are feeding, you know, kind of before dawn and maybe feeding again in the evening. So that's kind of the deal. But again, I think that bite is coming back on, and I think we're going to enjoy pretty good fishing right into the fall. I've seen that subtle fish movement out there. The fish are gradually moving up in the water column. High temperature I saw on the lake this year was 86 degrees on the surface, 73 degrees now. When it was 86, I was catching my salmon anywhere from about 75 to 90 feet deep. Now the average depth of the salmon is 60, 65, and the trout are even shallower than that. So we're starting to see those fish transition to the surface. We're seeing the first little bit of the bait breaking up. I'm starting to see all that small bait that has been stuck to the bottom, big mats of immature bait. I'm starting to see that stuff lift off the bottom now. So the lake is in transition, and I think things are changing for the better. Now, I was out there Friday, and I was ready to get out, get after the salmon early, and then try some bait trolling techniques to see if I could get some salmon later in the day. So my usual routine at Folsom is I roll up to the lake, even though the lake's down. I drive up to the Granite Bay restroom area. If you've never been there, they have big, beautiful, large bathrooms at Granite Bay. There's a toilet in there, there's a sink in there, and they're big. They're probably 8 feet by 8 feet. They're all tiled. So anyway, I get up there, and if I need to take care of my business, set the boat up, and then I drive down to the launch ramp. Well, on Friday, yesterday, I took Lucy with me. It was going to be cool. Had a couple clients on the boat that really enjoy spending time with Lucy, a fellow named Alan and his fishing partner. So I brought Lucy along. So it's time to go to the bathroom. It's still dark. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, just before 6 o'clock. I grab Lucy, put her on the leash. I walk over past some grass, let her do her business there, and I go in the restroom, check everything, look around, see if there's anything on the floor that she could get into or eat or anything gross. Nope, everything's cool. Weekday morning, get her inside, close the door, lock the door, take her off the leash, hang up my backpack, hang up her leash on the doorknob, and proceed to sit down and do my thing, if you know what I mean. So I'm sitting there, got the headlamp on, got my cell phone, I am looking at the crack in the door. It just happened to be looking there. And Lucy's walking around, but now she's over by the door. I see something move, and this literally takes a second or two, but it seemed like it was happening in slow motion. Something moves by the door, and a rattlesnake crawls underneath the door. Which would be disturbing enough if I was in the bathroom by myself, but I was in there with Lucy, and she's standing right there. Well, she doesn't have any experience with rattlesnakes, so she goes down to smell it. The snake, S-curves its neck back and strikes at her. She hops back. Snake crawls back out under the door. I call Lucy over. I get her by the head. I look at her face. Sure enough, there's a spot of blood on her nose. So now I know Lucy has been bitten in the face by a rattlesnake. Not a very big rattlesnake, but rattlesnake nonetheless. So I really quick finish what I'm doing. I get Lucy on the leash, get control of her, because the whole time I'm afraid the snake is going to come back under the door. Don't know. So I get Lucy by my side. I inch the door open. I look around. I'm looking for the snake. I know it's out there somewhere. It is right aside of the door jamb. It crawled outside after it struck her, and it coiled up by the door jamb. So I get Lucy over to one side, and I fast step past the snake. I don't mess with the snake. I don't have anything to mess with the snake with. It's all concrete. And anyway, my priority was I knew I had to get my dog to the vet. So call my clients. My clients were already there. They come. They're like, cool, take the dog to the vet. I got to take the boat back to Wes's house. That's where the boat lives, about 20 minutes from the lake. I real quick drive the boat back to the lake, call my wife. I say, I need a vet. I need a vet that has anti-venom. I need a vet that's open. I need an emergency vet. So Gina is awesome. She found me 3 vets. Closest one was in El Dorado Hills. I drop off the boat. On the way over to Wes's house, getting pretty close to Wes's house, about 20 minutes in, Lucy stands up and she throws up. And well, it's not very flattering. She poops in the truck, and she's starting to get sick. So I unhitch the boat. I clean up the truck a little bit. She's laying on her side now. I take off. I'm driving to El Dorado Hills. I'm on Highway 50 eastbound. I'm breaking some traffic rules because now Lucy is shaking. She's just shivering like she's got hypothermia. Oh my God. So I get to the vet. The attendants are waiting for me. I take her in. They do a blood test. They're like, yes, she has venom in her blood. We could tell from the red blood cells. The vet comes out and she says, well, we got a choice to make. We give her the anti-venom. Anti-venom can be hard on her internal organs. Her face isn't swelling. She's definitely reacting to the venom, but I think she can fight it off. So she's all, you can observe her or we can give her the anti-venom. What do you want to do? I says, well, what would you do? She goes, if it was my dog, I would wait and see. I would take her home. I would watch her. I would observe her. I'd watch her face, see if it swells, see if she's acting sick. And so I opted for that and got her home. And we spent the rest of the day kind of napping, me getting up every couple hours, checking her out, looking at her face. And today she is back to normal. She's back to her old self. I kept her inside today because, I don't know, she seemed a little weak. She was really, really sick yesterday. But all you guys that know me know that dog is my bestest buddy. And I was so worried about her yesterday, and I am so relieved right now that everything's looking good for her. Her nose isn't even swollen. And she had the rattlesnake prevention shot that gives you some extra time to get your dog to the vet. And I live here in the Sierra foothills, so I'm always concerned about rattlesnakes. There could be a rattlesnake here in my backyard, even though I've never seen one. But the last place I thought I would encounter a rattlesnake was in a tile bathroom in the middle of a huge parking lot. And if you've ever been to Granite Bay, the bathroom is in the middle of a huge parking lot. There's no real vegetation around it. So how that snake happened to come up there and come into that bathroom, I will never know. But I am sure thankful that it was a pretty straightforward deal, and Lucy is going to be fine. And I think she's going to take a few days off from the guide boat because, you know, her dad can't take the stress. But you know, a word of warning: if you do go to Folsom Lake, keep your eyes open, because there are rattlesnakes out there, and they will bite, as Lucy will certainly attest. So anyway, moving on. I've got a bunch of Folsom Lake guided trips coming up. Looking forward to getting out there, battling some salmon, battling some rainbows. We're going to be pulling spoons and some other gear. Recently, with, you know, fall coming up, we've got some cool weather next week. It's going to be very pleasant. Fall is in the air. I've been getting a lot of questions about rigging and trolling flies. So I've actually had this this set up in my garage for about a week, wanting to talk about it. I've got 3 different flies rigged up on there. So let's get that out of the way right now. Let's talk about rigging and pulling trolling flies. First and foremost, they're all rigged on a 10-pound test fluorocarbon leader. If you've heard me on the channel before, you know why you use fluorocarbon. It reflects light at the same rate as water, renders it pretty much invisible to the fish. Why do I use 10-pound as opposed to, you know, 4-pound or 6-pound? Well, I'm gunning for big fish. So my line weight of choice on the fluorocarbon leader material is 8 on the light side, 10 pretty average. I use 10 a lot, and like at Folsom right now I'm using 12 because I am getting into some large fish. But 8, 10, or 12, that's what I use. I'm hoping to get a big fish on, and when I do, I want line capable of battling a big fish behind a moving boat. So the question I've been getting a lot is, what's the difference between rigging a woolly booger and rigging a regular trolling fly? So let me show you this metal head here. Let me get this out of the phone, unfurl it real quick. Here we go. Now this is a real standard choice for me. It's an orange metal head, action disc. You see the stem of the action disc is facing towards the fly, and that's going to give it the action. And I run that disc right on the nose of the fly. Snap this on, no flashers, no dodgers, no nothing. Run it anywhere from about 1.5 to as fast as you want to troll it, and it is a fish catching dynamo. The metalhead trolling flies, I came up with those as a speed trolling fly, and they work great for that, but they work at all speeds. We catch so many big fish on these. Biggest trout we ever caught guiding, 13 pounds, came on a pink and white metalhead. Proven performer, guys. Wild trout, holdovers, freshly planted trout, they just work. It's a compact package. It has a nice amount of bulk. It's shaped basically like a shad minnow, and you know, trout respond to it really, really well. Not just for me, but for our customers all over the country, all over the world for that matter. I've caught some really nice trout on the metalhead trolling fly, and it comes in a whole bunch of different colors designed by me for you to take out and catch more and bigger trout with. Enough said. Let me hang this guy up right there. Let me contrast that rigging with the way that I rig a woolly booger. Now, a woolly booger, or as we call them, trigger boogers, it is a more compact fly than a metalhead and a lot of our other trolling flies. Gets very thin when pulled through the water. It is a design that has been around for decades. Fly fishermen have been using it for decades. It is a hardcore fish producer, but because it is a little bit smaller profile fly, I like to put a couple bobber stops between the fly and the action disc, and I move those bobber stops up just about like that, about a ½ inch between the fly and the disc, and I like to run this at 1.8. My woolly boogers, trigger boogers, are top-notch flies. Natural colors are favorites, but I really do well on the bright stuff and the white stuff. A white fly like that looks a lot like a small immature bait fish. Biggest trout I caught 2 years ago, 11.5 pounds, young man caught it. A white trigger booger fished right under the surface, maybe a foot or two deep, middle of the afternoon, actually about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, got a little breeze, put that white fly out just under the surface, big fish hit, long story short, that little guy caught the trout of a lifetime. 11.5-pound rainbow just cruising right under the surface chop. Couldn't lay off a white fly. So that's how you rig woolly boogers. You need these in your box. Subtle presentation. Trout fishing's maybe a little off. Maybe they're a little reluctant to go. Put on a woolly booger and you will put some fish in the boat. And this is also a fly that I really do like to long line with when the water temperature is 66 or below on the surface. Put it way out behind the boat or the kayak, just under the chop, and let it do its thing. Little fly can do some big work. And that's why I rig it on that 10-pound test right there. Now, let's talk about a larger profile fly, and I will get out of your hair because it is Sunday morning and you can go watch football, which is what I'm going to do. I got a power outage today, so actually this afternoon I gassed up the generator because I know I'm going to be on the generator a lot tomorrow because I want to see football and to get a little bit of R&R after wrestling at Firewood all day. Let me show you our classic trolling fly, and this is kind of an exciting announcement as well. So let me take this guy off this foam block. So right now, you'll see these in the store available in 2 different colors. We've got this pink version and we've got an orange version. Now, as you can see, it's a large profile fly. It's made out of marabou, and you know that's gonna compact down when you get it in the water, but it's still a large profile fly. Now, there is a problem with a large profile fly. If you've got a traditional hook in that fly where the hook is up here, there's all this stuff towards the back, you're gonna get some short strikes, and as you know, I hate short strikes. I don't like them at all. So I've been doing a lot of experimenting with hooks and how to put a stinger hook on this fly permanently so you don't have to. So let me show you what I came up with. You can see right there, that hook is attached to some wire, and that extends it back well behind the fly. It gets it right back to the edge of that tail, and when they come nipping, they come tail grabbing at that, that is a very sharp octopus hook. They are going to get hooked. Okay, that is a killer rigging. I ran this last winter and spring, and I caught a bunch of fish on it. We are ready to unveil them in the store. They've been in the store for a while, but this is the first time I talked about them. And down the road, when I get a chance, we've been so busy procuring plastics and putting all kinds of stuff together for the store. You're starting to see some changes in the store, more long-term supply of things and stuff like that. I haven't been able to work on these flies. Ultimately, I want to have these in 6 colors and then expand that to maybe a dozen different color patterns. But for now, we've got the 2 I played with last spring. We've got the pink version, pink and blue, and we've got the orange version. So if you're looking for a larger profile trolling fly to run this fall, and you should absolutely be running some larger profile trolling flies this fall, grab a couple of these. They're in our large fly category in the FHS fishing store. Put them on. They've got that extended hook. You're going to get short strikers. You're going to get hard strikers. You're going to catch them all. You're going to be yelling fish on, and that will produce some very large fish for you at places like Comanche, Eagle Lake, Elmore, wherever your travels take you. Flies are probably the most underfished offering you can pull behind a boat or a kayak. They're not used enough. They're super effective at tempting both big fish and numbers of smaller fish. The fish simply don't see trolling flies as much as they see other offerings like Castmasters, Rapalas, needlefish, speedy shiners. Therefore, they are much more likely to take a swipe at a fly. This especially applies to big experienced fish. Show them something novel, show them something new, and your chances of hooking that fish go up exponentially. So, get yourself some flies. There is no better time to pull flies than in the fall. They produce fish all year long. I almost always have a fly on my line. Biggest trout we caught at Folsom this summer came on a white metalhead trolling fly. But fall is absolute prime time to be pulling trolling flies. And you're going to see me very shortly. You're going to see me at Eagle. You're going to see me at Elmore. You're going to see me at a lot of other destinations, fishing with Lucy, fishing out of my skiff, and I am going to be pulling trolling flies and soft plastics, because I am supremely confident in those offerings, and I'm really going to show you what kind of fish a trolling fly can produce. So look for that upcoming. If you're looking to stock up on stuff for the fall season, get on over to fhsfishing.com. Check out our store. We've got everything you need to get out on the water and yell fish on. You're going to catch more fish with my gear, and if you catch more fish, you're going to catch more bigger fish. That's my philosophy. I am here to help you be successful on the water. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the football if that's what's on the menu for today. I will catch you next time right here on YouTube. I am going to go catch some fish, avoid the rattlesnakes, and hopefully someday in the very near future, I'm going to be done playing with firewood, which means I don't have to wear these big hot Carhartt bibs anymore until the weather cools off. I'm out of here. You have a great day. Thanks for all the support, guys. We really appreciate it, and I will see you next time right here on YouTube.